Here's the last slide from the notes in section 5.5 about law of signs. This one sort of puts it all together for the ambiguous case, the SSA. What we want to do with this one is, given the information, figure out what are the values possible to make two triangles, one triangle, or no possible triangles for the case where we're given an angle and two sides. Now, we're not given the other side quite yet. We're going to figure out what the range of values needs to be in order to produce these types of triangles. So first thing that I would like to do here is figure out what this height is. The height is going to be found in the way that we've done before, and that is we'll think about this as a right triangle. The height is going to be, so sine of 53 is h over 12. We can multiply by 12 to give us 12 sine of 53. Again, in degree mode, we get that, and the height is approximately 9.58. So here's one thing it tells me, is that in order for this to be at least one triangle possible, this C has to reach down to that final side. It's got to be at least as big as H. And so if it's not, then there are no triangles possible. So I'm going to just kind of pick that one off first. When there are no triangles possible, that means that C is going to be less than 9.58, because that will mean that that side won't even reach there if this is the hinge. So that's one thing that we got out of the way. The other thing we got out of the way is, what if it is exactly the same as the height? We didn't talk about that in one of the previous examples, but it was in the description at the beginning of the ambiguous case, is that if it's exactly equal, then we are actually talking about a right triangle. So one possibility for a right triangle here is that C is equal to exactly the same thing as the height, 9.58. There is one other way that this is possible that it's possible to have one possible triangle, and that is when this side C is bigger or greater than or equal to the 12 over here. So that's going to be the other possibility, is that C is greater than or equal to 12. Those two things will give us one possible triangle. Now, the two possible triangles is when C, this value here that we're trying to determine, is between H and 12. So H we found is 9.58. In order to reach, it has to be at least that, so we'll say that C is somewhere in between there. But then C also needs to be less than 12 in order to make another side over here, another place where it touches down over here. That's just a brief explanation of how these two, one, and no triangles possible in this situation. You'll see one in your homework like that.